Welcome, everybody, to the Competition Archery Media Podcast, where we explore all things pertaining to competition archery. I'm your host, PJ Riley, and the CAM Podcast is brought to you by B3 Archery. Sitting with me is CAM manager Josh Grind today, and we have with us, fresh off his big win in Reading, Stephan Hansen. Stephan, thanks for being here.
Of course, thank you.
So, how does that feel? You've been shooting Reading how long? I'm sure that was one on your hit list.
Yeah, I don't even know how long. 10 years, maybe? I don't know when I shot the first time. Probably, 9 years, something like that. I've taken third, fourth, fifth, been kind of close. I was tied for first some years ago with Steve and Kyle and lost that shoot-off, so definitely.
You were in a shoot-off for first before?
Yeah. We were 5 down some years ago, probably 2017, I think. And it was pretty windy that year. And at Elk, both Kyle and I did not shoot very good. Hit pretty far off the dot, and Steve hit the dot at Elk.
Oh, so, the year he won. Okay, gotcha. Man. So losing like that in the shoot-off, explain the difference this year. Obviously, you won this year, but is there just like no pressure knowing that you go through the end and, I just won it, I don't have to do anything?
No, there is, especially because the last day was really windy, and that was our hard day. We had everything hard pretty much, except for Bigfoot. So I was kind of going into it thinking that Louis Price had the advantage by far because he had a lot easier targets, honestly. But also, any target in wind can be hard. Like it's not that easy. Yeah. Even in calm weather, you can make a mistake and miss. So anything can happen. But 88 yards, 77 yards, it's not super easy when it's blowing a lot.
Was Bigfoot your last target?
Second day was the last target, yeah.
Oh, okay. So you didn't do that on the last day.
We started at 55. So we had, elk, moose, buffalo the last day.
Oh, man. So how long was your last target?
The last target was 25 yards. It was easy. I missed it, actually, but it was kind of dumb because I already checked the scores and I saw that everybody had missed at least 3 and I was still 1 down.
Gotcha.
I hit the first one and it was a little windy and I was just like, I just want to be done. Like I was a little nervous and I was just, I know I can hit a 10 without a problem. So I just kind of shot it with being a little, it was not super smart, but I was just like, whatever, I'll take the win and move on.
Take the win and move on. Absolutely. Yeah. So you knew when you shot your last arrow that you had won.
Yeah, I did. Only if there was like a mistake, but I couldn't imagine there was. So
right.
So I knew. Yeah.
So what's that feel like?
Oh, it was a relief. Like I didn't really expect to win just because my practice beforehand wasn't that good. I made the shoot off in the last ASA, which was fine, but with my skinny arrows, I felt like I wasn't fully there at 50 meter. I would shoot okay scores, but I wouldn't feel like I shot like perfect or great. But shooting at the dots is a little different since you can make small mistakes and still hit the dots. As long as you don't make a big mistake, you'll miss the dot.
Yeah.
So I was just, the first 2 days, that was really all that was good for me. Like I didn't make I made some small mistakes, but they would all catch the dot and it would be fine. But I never made like a big mistake. I never missed at my side. I never did anything wrong like that because that's usually what happens for somebody. Like somebody will miss at their side because it's 3 days. You're in a group with friends, you joke around, and then you forget to do something.
Yeah. I would think the weights in between, like we heard some of the weights were, 45 minutes that, you might just forget. Oh, I already set my sight in. Whoops. No, I didn't.
Yeah. Our group was probably, our group itself was not the slowest, but we were probably one of the last ones to get off the course every day. We were done 3 something the first day and a little after 4 the second day. And every day we were very slow. Just because we had a little backup all the time. It was never more than an hour, but it would be like half an hour, 45 minutes, just all the time a backup. And there was 8 hours to shoot 50 arrows is a little rough.
Man,
I couldn't do it.
No, I mean, I always said, everybody's like, oh, do you ever want to shoot Redding? And my answer is always the same. Yes, when no one's there.
Yeah.
That's because it does look cool, but I've been there. We stood at Bigfoot one day and man, it was just like, I think the average was like half hour to 45 minutes. I thought my agita would just get the best of me.
The only benefit to Bigfoot is the burger stand. You can go to the bathroom, have 2 burgers, take a nap, and it still might not be time to shoot.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I do have a question before PJ gets into the nuts and bolts of the Redding shoot. So you said Louis had the easier third day, so you weren't sure how that was going to play out for you. Somebody was confident because there was a bottle of champagne present. Did you bring that, or did somebody else?
I didn't know that. Yeah, Cody from Easton, he brought a bottle of champagne. He told Jimmy when I cleaned it he would bring it, but I knew I was never gonna clean it. Like when we got to Elk, it was blowing so hard the wind. I was like, I'll be just happy to hit it once. Like it was so hard. Robert hit an 8, I think, way right. Just the wind just carried his arrow all the way to the right. So we were like, we have no idea. Like, yeah. It was so hard.
So like on that shot, what did you do? You see Robert shoot.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do when you know the effects of the wind? How do you compensate for that?
Yeah, I had Jimmy shoot first also. He's my partner there. So I usually I would start every target, but because I was in the lead, we kind of switched and he had dropped some points already. So kind of just to help me out a little, he would shoot first and he also hit right. So I gave my sight some clicks and just waited and hoped for the best. I hit actually left on my first arrow. I gave it 12, 14 clicks to the right. But I must have hit like a spot where it was kind of calm. Because my next arrow hit right and I missed a dot on the second arrow. So
gotcha. You in the end, you ended up dropping 3 total?
2
total. Okay, 98. Yeah. Gotcha. Man, what did you think of that score knowing about that wind on the last day?
I thought I would maybe miss more because when we looked at weather forecast, it looked like it was going to be worse. And I wasn't expecting to have like chances that would be kind of calm and have a chance to shoot. But it actually, for some reason in Redding, there would be like moments that would kind of get calm.
Gotcha.
So if you waited enough, usually you would have a chance to kind of have a little less wind.
Yeah.
But the patience is hard too, because you also want to just like kind of keep going and you don't want to just stand there and wait for 15 minutes, but it can be necessary sometimes.
Right. Man. So where does this rank for you in your list of wins? How do you see it?
Pretty high. I call Redding a grand slam for archery, I would say. So it's one of the big ones. It's not Vegas, obviously, but it's a big shoot, I think.
Yeah.
For me. Yeah, definitely.
Technical, it seems like, too. I mean, not to take anything away from Vegas, but you're standing there 18 meters. It's the same shot over and over and over. This one, man, you just got to have everything screwed on right.
Yeah, that's the hard part. 3 days, your sight marks can't change. Nothing can change. Your string can never change. Everything has to be on every day. Because it's hard to, like, you can see if you start hit a little bit low, you will notice it, but you can't be much low. You'll miss the dot. So you kind of have to have everything. I'm surprisingly kind of lucky, I feel like, with my marks. I made them here in Yankton, where I live now, at the NFA Center. I went straight here after the ASA last weekend. Because I figured I can shoot indoor 100 yards, so let's just get here and I can make my marks. I made marks, but I was like, it was just like kind of marks to just have something.
Yeah.
I went to Redding and the marks was pretty much on. I didn't really change anything.
Didn't change it.
So whatever I figured out here worked.
Yeah. And were you shooting your ASA bow or did you set up a different bow?
At first, I took my ASA bow because it's 70 pounds and I definitely need that for Redding, but then I realized I would never make 100 yards anyway, so I had to move my peep up a little bit. and I didn't want it to change anything on my ASA bow. So I just took my target bow and moved my peep up, and then I was able to hit 100 yards.
And it was still 70 pounds.
Yeah. I changed them up to be 70 pounds. So, yeah.
9 or 10 years you've been shooting Reading, got to a shoot off 1 year. What do you think it took that this was the year it came together?
I don't know. I've been working pretty hard here. I've been trying to figure out what I have to do to get it all the way. But honestly, not that much different. It's not like I went into the shoot much different than others. Like I did kind of the same thing. I just clicked this weekend, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I was tied for first before, so obviously I had the level to be up there. But the other years, like last year, I missed Bigfoot last arrow. I think last arrow of the tournament. That would have put me tied for second last year. No, I was tied for third, I think, because there was 2 for first. So I've been up there close enough.
Yeah.
But just every time made some little mistake or done something, and this time they would just hit the line or hit inside enough that would be fine.
It seems like my perception from the outside is it seems like you're one of those guys that's always there. You can never count out Hansen. You're just always right there in the mix. Sometimes you win, sometimes you don't. But like I saw you won and it was okay. Yeah. It wasn't like, whoa, Stephan won. It's like, yeah, okay. I could see that. I don't know. Does it feel like that to you? Do you feel like you're always in the mix?
I'm close enough that I feel like I have a chance sometimes. I have shoots that I feel like I shoot bad, obviously. But at least I feel like I have quite a few shoots that I'm close enough that I at least have a chance of winning. Like I don't win every time at all, but it's been the last couple of years haven't been as good. Just many changes, many things has been happening in my life. Just getting older, I think. Just a lot of things. I think moving to Yankton is gonna help me a little bit. Just better practice. I can shoot with Jimmy here. I can do many other things that I feel a little bit excited about, and I feel a little bit more motivated to shoot here.
Yeah.
Having the indoor range, and if the weather is good, I can go outside. It's a little bit better. Jimmy took out his ASA targets here, so we have those. So just better surroundings, better. He's here. I have a friend that I can hang out here, and my wife is here. She's working for NFA, so we're just having a little team here, kind of.
Oh, sounds to me like watch out. Stephan Hansen's getting it all together. How old are you? I don't know.
I'm 29. I'll turn 30 in a month.
Okay, gotcha. Now, we just had Tanya and Mike Schlosser, Denmark and the Netherlands, within the past month. You're from Denmark originally. How did you get started in archery there? Tanya told us about what the scene is in Denmark, but how did you come to it?
My brother started archery randomly. He was with a friend, and then the neighbor took them out to try archery. And he's 4 years older than me. And then as the little brother, I had to try it also. And I slowly did more and more. I was 6, 7 years old when I started. So it just like slowly, step by step, I got more into it. I got pretty decent young. When I was like 10, 11, I beat most of the national records, but I was still very young. I just slowly built it up, and then made the national team in 2009 and won world championship as cadet in 2011. And then it kind of like just slowly got more and more and more.
Yeah. Did you win a world championship in the adult class as well?
Yeah.
I thought so.
Yeah, in
15.
Denmark.
So how old were you then? 2015?
20. Yeah.
20. Okay. Just 20. Wow. Yeah. So for you, what did that look like? Tanya told us what it looked like for her. Like, how were you making archery work? Were your parents paying for everything? Were you getting a job? How did that happen? Because she told us like there's not a lot of funding.
Yeah. So in the beginning, actually, when I was young and in the beginning, there was some funding, and we got most of the shoot kind of paid. We only had to pay a few $100s to go.
Yeah.
So that helped for sure. I'm not coming from a rich background or anything that so my parents would never have been able to pay as it is right now, because it's
right.
Go to World Cups now is crazy expensive. But it just I tried to just don't go to everything. I would go to the ones that I could afford, and I was lucky enough to win in 2011, which gave me some awards and a little bit of money, and I could just like take it slowly, just go to another one. I waited years before I went to Vegas the first time. I think it was in 14 maybe.
Okay.
Even though I was already a caddy world champion in 2011, so I went earlier, but I took it kind of slow and just take my time.
Huh. Did you, were you,
slowly.
Were you only doing archery, or were you, well, I guess at 14, you're not working on the side.
No,
but by the time you got to working age, were you only shooting archery?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I never really had a job. I had a little job for a month or something, but it was too boring that I didn't want to do it. but no, I never really did anything else. I was lucky enough to win some tournaments young that gave me some sponsors and made it possible that I didn't have to work. And then in 2015, I was about to start college, and I won world championship in Denmark. And then I was like, let's try 1 year and see, like, just doing full-time archery and see what happens. And then now it's been 10 years and I'm still just trying archery, I guess.
So what does it look like for somebody who's working full-time in archery? What does your day look like? I mean, people are always curious of what a full-time archer's life looks like.
Well, right now, usually, so my wife will go work around 8 or 9, and I will go with her normally to the center, and I'll shoot for 3 hours. I'll go home. We have some dogs. I'll take my dogs out, have lunch, hang out a little here, and then I'll go back later, and I'll shoot for 2-3 hours more. So I'll shoot, between 4 and 6 hours every day.
About how many arrows do you think that is?
200-300, maybe more, maybe less.
Yeah.
Depends what I do. If 3D, it's a little less because it takes more time.
Yeah.
For a target, I can shoot more arrows. I don't really count. I just kind of shoot. And
shoot. So right now, are you practicing both, like 3D and target shooting? What are you practicing now?
I practice mainly target 50 meter, just because I feel like if I have the accuracy on 50 meter, it'll be good enough for 3D also.
Yeah.
I have my 3D. I will shoot sometimes. I've shot my 3D bow at 50 meter with big arrows and everything, just because it felt fine. Now we'll have some 3D targets out and we can shoot those. It'll be maybe even better. But I kind of like shooting 50 meter. I feel like it's a little bit more fun for me.
Yeah.
But I like the tournaments of 3D. I don't necessarily like the practice part, because I feel like I will set up 10 targets, shoot those 10 and be like, okay, now I shot 10 arrows and I spent an hour. I feel like I don't get that much. It takes more time to really, and I don't have to judge anything. I just have to kind of know where is the middle.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, so speaking of 50 meters then, compound in the Olympics, Denmark is your home country. You're living here in the U.S. What have you thought about that yet? What you're going to do? I mean, do you plan to try for the Olympics? Let's start there.
I probably will. Many things can happen in a couple of years. So who knows? And who knows what is the rules? Like, there's nothing really official yet other than it's mixed team.
Yeah.
I had a plan to shoot for USA before the announcement of Olympics. I had honestly already signed papers to shoot for USA.
Okay.
But I will never be able to shoot for USA at Olympics because I need a passport for that. I need to be a citizen. And that
okay.
usually would take longer time. I don't know if there was a way to expedite it or anything. I haven't never looked into that, or I don't really need to. But now Denmark might get some funding, so I don't really know. I have the cards a little bit open right now and just doing my professional life as I normally would. And then we'll kind of see what happens when more things are official. But if I want to go to Olympics, it'll be for Denmark for sure.
Yeah. Okay, would be. I was going to say, you and Tanya, that would be a pretty lethal team.
Yeah.
But then, of course, there's a kid named Matthias that you'd have to contend with as well.
Of course. Yeah, because it's mixed team for me. It feels a little strange because I'm not an archer to do team. I'm an archer because it's an individual sport, and I do this individually. I don't rely on anybody else. And it's just my sport, kind of like I'm the one doing this by myself, kind of.
Yeah.
And so that you like suddenly rely on somebody else, it feels a little strange, I think, because it's I don't really like that it's a team event. I would have hoped it would be individual in the Olympics because that would make more sense.
Yeah,
in my mind, but. It is in compound Olympic that at least a good step, I think, in the right direction. But that it's a mixed team because, like, who knows? Like, I don't even know if Tanya, like, what is her plan? She has a kid. I have no idea. Like, if she doesn't try it, the other Danish girls are not bad, but they are not Tanya's level either. So we'll have to have somebody to get a little bit better. So it will be like it will be based on Tanya a lot because. At least Matthias and I has the level, I think.
Right.
But it will be based on what Tanya kind of wants. And that I don't quite like that. We have to rely on somebody else, whatever her decision is. And she has her own life too. She has a kid. She maybe wants more. Who knows? So there's just many things. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what is the options and plans and all of that.
It is still early. I mean, But so you and Matthias, so, you're 29, you're the old guy there in the Denmark team. But when did you first know about Matthias coming up? When did he hit your radar?
In COVID at some point, 2022, 2023, I think. I've known him for years. I've known his dad for years. He has a picture of him and I shooting against each other that I don't even remember, but it's like, I don't even know, many years ago, and he's very young. But yeah, in COVID, he started to get better and had more time to practice, and now he's a pro, obviously, so now he has all the time he wants to practice.
That part, we were talking about it before. That's the part to me that just is hard to wrap my head around. That a country where you and Tanya said, archery is a small thing, and yet it produced you and Tanya and Matthias, like three of the best archers in the world, from a place where, by your own description, archery isn't really that big. How do you think how do you explain that?
It's been in generations, I think. So years ago, it was a guy called Niels Baldur and a couple of others that was good. And they had internationally good level. Like one of them got world champion. They were great at that time. And then Martin Damsbo kind of took over, and he was the good one.
Yeah.
And I think many times you like kind of compete against your country first, and then you go internationally and then see kind of how you're shooting against them.
Yeah.
But then, like, if your country isn't super high level, you compete against somebody that won't be very good internationally either. So if the level is good, like Damsbo was very good, we want to beat him. And then when we are able to beat him internationally, we are good too.
Gotcha.
So it's kind of like it's just built up. We've just been good for many years now.
Yeah.
So one of my favorite Stephan Hansen moments, you know the story I'm going to tell. It was probably 5 years ago. I was just experiencing ASA for the first time, went along with competition archery media, was collecting scores, and I walked by and he goes, "You don't need my card yet." And you were on, like, I don't know, target 8, 9. And I'm like, all right. He's like, but come back at whatever, target 16 or something. And sure enough, so I walked by, I skipped him the next 2 times, and I walked by and looked at him, and he smiled and handed me the card. And you made the shoot off. You were on the board. I can't remember if you won that tournament, but just the confidence there of like, not yet. See me in like 7 targets.
Yeah.
And that was probably my best memory of being on the range with Stephan. And so I do. So as a pro archer, we talk about funding and Denmark, funding in the US, making a living in archery. What's something that you think needs to change to make it possible for more people? Because there's only a handful of people worldwide that are successfully making it as a full-time archer.
Just the exposure of it. If we were able to get outside sponsors, that would really change everything. But it's very hard as it is right now. Because it's such a little group that is able to make it. And if you have a job, it's hard to really, because when you are at the shoot, you're thinking, oh, tomorrow I have to be at work. I have to be there at 7 a.m. I have to do all these things. So mentally it's even harder. And you just kind of have to take a chance and try to go pro. It might not pay off. It might pay off. Who knows? But to have more pros, it would just, the exposure of archery, they make it more exciting in some ways. I think the Lancaster shoot-off did something that is more exciting with the 12 ring. I think it changed a little bit, but I don't know what other people outside the sport thinks, if they actually see it as more exciting or not. Somehow make it more exciting. I don't know.
So before I ask the next question, I do have to touch on the fact that you changed the Lancaster Classic forever.
That was you.
And it's another story. You and I had conversations, and you were telling me all along, people are using the 12 ring all wrong. And you're like, if I ever get in there, first thing I'm going to do is just hit the 12 ring. And so I just sat back and watched. I was like, is he actually going to do it? And you walked out there and you hit the button, and I think forever changed the Lancaster Classic shoot-ups. Following up on exposure. So as a pro archer, you've got international recognition. So you're a little different than somebody who specializes in ASA or, a national format somewhere. With all that's changed in pro sports, collegiate sports, the name, image, likeness payout, what do you think the opportunities for you as an individual are to gain more exposure and outside sponsorships for you personally? Because brands are doing that now. Have you thought through that? Do you see an opportunity there?
With Olympics, it will definitely change, because when I did a lot of the World Cups and I was a world champion and all of that stuff, when I would go to a company, the only thing they would say, when are you going to Olympics? And when you say no, they would say, have a good day, kind of. That's really that you are able to go to Olympics. I think you don't necessarily have to go, but that you at least have a chance to go will change, because the companies are looking at sports as, if you can go to Olympics, the sport is worth more, I think. Like I think it will change in that way. Like there will be more outside sponsors that are more interested just because it's an Olympic sport now.
Yeah, and I definitely see that. I've had conversations with people in the past with archery around the Olympics. I'm just like, I still think though, even in the last year, you see fishermen and bowlers and some of these other smaller sports where you see kind of individual icons building name and brand. And I think, I just wonder if that has changed the perspective. So if you reach out to companies now, is it only Olympic eccentric, or could you do you think there's an opportunity for an archer to build an individual brand like, Messi? That would be, I guess, the extreme in our current. The guy represents everything. But through YouTube, social media channels, do you think there's an opportunity that archers should look at to start to build individual brands?
I mean, if you look Chris B and Levi and those, they're doing other things with hunting. I guess that would be the easiest part to do it with. But other than that, I think it's hard. I think you need to be like doing something like a Usain Bolt that suddenly makes running more exciting because of his personality, I guess. That would maybe change something. Because it's hard in archery, because we have to be pretty focused and pretty serious. So it's hard to be on a stage and being like a cool guy and make a little show, because you are there like full focus. You are there like you have to really pay attention to what you're doing and not making any mistakes. So it's hard to make like a show for any, like in a shoot off, to make people like excited about watching you. I think it's pretty hard for, in general in archery, to make it like exciting to look at like the athlete like that, because I think the person when we are shooting are pretty boring to look at, just because we don't have that many emotions, because we're trying to like fully focus. We're trying to not show that we're nervous. We're trying to just pay attention to everything. so it's hard for a sport that is not moving a lot, that we are very stationary, and we are to really make it exciting. I think it's that's the hard part.
He might be the first person I've heard articulate it like that. I think I've thought of that. Like, how do you, if you're up there in the finals at the Classic when you're shooting 12s, mm-hmm. if you start getting excited and jumping up and down, that's not good for you.
No. Your pulse goes up. You're getting, I don't think it would be any good. But it would be better for the crowd.
Yeah, right. But then until you miss, and then boom, out goes Stephan.
Exactly.
Huh. I never heard anybody talk about it like that before. I forgot what I was going to ask. Lost it. Age completely. Oh, ASA. Back to the ASA. Have you won an ASA in the pro class?
No.
Okay.
Second.
Is that second you've gotten?
Yeah.
Is that like a goal? Is that one on your hit list?
Oh, for sure. But I mean, I go to every shoot hoping to win it. It's not like I go and think, oh, this is the one that I want to win. I go to every shoot hoping that I can win it and doing my best and seeing how it goes. Because we shoot so many events, it's kind of hard to have like a specific goal for the year, I think.
Right.
But it's for sure. I'm because I won Reading, I'm missing like 2 or 3 events that I have never won, and it's one ASA, Vegas, and World Cup final. That's the only ones that I've never won. I've taken second at all of them, but never won.
No kidding.
So definitely on the list.
Yeah.
How many events do you do a year?
20 to 30, I think. I don't know exactly. So like 25 probably, around there.
Are you still shooting World Cups?
No, I don't.
Okay.
No. So because I signed the paper to shoot for USA, I have to take a year off, technically.
Okay.
But now because of the Olympics, we'll see how things could change. And I was probably not going to shoot World Cups anyway, just because it's so expensive, so far away, and my country doesn't care that much. So I'm like, I will focus on the money part of archery, which is not shoot World Cups, because I think there's more money shooting here in the States and more exposure and better. Because I shoot for Matthews, they like ASA a lot, and they think the exposure there is much better. So I think it's better for me to shoot those.
Yeah. So like this year, obviously the ASAs, what's on your schedule yet shoot wise?
So it'll be the next ASA in London, and then I'm going to shoot the last USATs, the last 3 USATs, all the ASAs, of course.
Okay.
There's a chance for World Championship if Denmark figure things out and they want to pay or something, but it's kind of open. I don't really know. I don't really have a big plan about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, ASAs, USATs, Field Nationals, Dakota Classic.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
the NFA stuff. Gotcha. Mm-hmm. So then for you, like, okay, we're in full outdoor season now. When do you flip the switch and start working on indoor?
October, usually. Maybe even September if there's nothing else. I'll set up a bow. I'll take a break usually of some days, but I'll set up a bow and just kind of take it slow and shoot a little bit outdoor, shoot a little bit indoor. It kind of depends on how the weather is. And now that I'm living in Yankton, I might look into some more hunting stuff and things. But I'm not sure yet about all of that. I haven't planned anything special.
I was going to ask, okay, when you take a break, what does Stephan Hansen do? What do you do when you're not playing archery?
Take a vacation sometimes. We have been traveling. We went on a cruise. We've done some things like that. But I'll usually practice anyway. Like I practice every day all year pretty much, except if I take like a specific break of some days, 2 weeks maybe or something. But else I'll usually practice anyway.
Every day.
I don't like to. Yeah, pretty much. Except if I travel. But I think it's like I want to get the full out of my sport. Like I don't want to just feel like I did it half. I want to feel like I did as much as I could and and I get paid to do it. So everybody that has a job, they go to work every day and they work 8 hours or whatever. And I feel like I'm supposed to do the same. And I have the motivation to do it, and I like to do it. So why not? Like,
have you ever had any injuries? Elbow, shoulder, any of that stuff, the usual archery injuries?
Shoulder, but many years ago, after a vacation, took my bow, vacation of 3 weeks somewhere. I was much younger, like, I don't even know how old, 11, 12 maybe. Draw my bow a couple of times, and I could feel something happen in my shoulder, and I had to take some time off and had a little massage and therapy and things.
Is there anything you do now to try and prevent that?
Not really. I will start in a gym soon. We just moved here, so I haven't really got fully settled in. Start running a little bit more and things like that. But I don't really do anything specific.
You gonna get Jimmy to run with you?
I bought a bike here, a bicycle. And he got one with electricity, of course. So he said he can join me, but this is going to be a little faster and a little cheating. So I don't know.
Well, you live there in South Dakota. Everything's flat, right? It's just all straight.
It's an electric bike for in Yankton.
I like that.
But I've, been around, heard guys talk that they said, "Oh man, Hansen's really a car guy." Is this true? You a big car guy? Yeah.
Not really. I mean, I like cars, but not that special.
You don't have like a car collection or anything like a Jay Leno car garage or?
No, I don't. No. And I'm very cheap, so I wouldn't spend money on it either.
Rumors.
Yeah.
What's it like coming from Denmark? Now, I don't know where you lived in Denmark. Well, you went to Cancun for a while. Now in Yankton, South Dakota. What's that like? To me, that seems like culture shock for me, and I'm from here.
And the city size and everything is pretty much where I came from. It's like 20,000 people, I think. And that's the same as the city as I'm from in Denmark. It's the same size pretty much. Okay. So for that, it's not that much different. Weather, since I lived in Mexico for some years, weather is a little rough in the winter. But not that much difference for me. People have been very happy and friendly and helping us and all of that. So it's actually been pretty nice so far. Weather is getting definitely better. So it's not too bad yet.
Yeah.
We haven't had any issues, anything weird.
Let's do a little plug for Yankton and Bruce Collin NFA there. It's one of my favorite places to come to. And I always tell PJ, I'm like, I love going to Yankton. And so there's a lot, the food's really good. It's just a quiet town. And I really enjoy my time there. The food options are pretty good for the town. What's your favorite place to eat there?
We haven't even eaten out that much.
You haven't had tacos?
The Mexican place.
Of course. Yeah. We have plenty of tacos. They don't really have much like fancy stuff. They just have like change, the good tacos, chaparros. Many people likes to go there. We do too, of course. My wife is Mexican, so of course we will go there too. But we also try not to eat out too much, because when we lived in Mexico, we would eat out way too much. So we're kind of trying to cook at home and stay home.
I was going to say, with his wife, the Mexican food that impresses us, maybe,
that taco place is pretty legit.
That's pretty legit. Yeah, definitely.
So let's talk about your wife. It's Ada, right?
Yeah, Aida.
So is she still shooting for Mexico?
Yeah, she is. She's not like on the team. She's still like technically, like, she's not gonna change to USA or anything like that. But right now she's kind of taking a year off, just working here and figuring things out here and just trying to see, and then maybe she'll try for Olympic more in 28. But yeah, she's just working, shooting, and hanging out around here.
Yeah, she shoots Olympic recurve for folks who don't know.
And how many Olympics did she participate in? 4. Wow.
4 Olympics. Yeah. Wow.
She got a silver from 2012.
Okay. Yeah. So does she, given her perspective on the Olympics, well, and as you said, you expect that will probably open some more doors. I'm guessing she's living proof of that. She's probably experienced some of that.
Yeah, for sure. But it also changed how, like, for example, when a country starts paying, they will give salary. They also expect things in return. So for them, they would have to be in a training center. They would practice there, and they would expect more things from them. So they also, like with my life now, it's more or less just whatever Matthews kind of wants me to go to.
Yeah.
And they're pretty open. So it's kind of more myself. Like I'm not really restricted that I have to go certain places. I don't have to. I can kind of pick and choose a little bit what I want to do. So it's a little bit more easier for my life, I think.
Yeah.
And that's one thing with Olympic that could change. Like if the country suddenly wants to pay more, they also gonna expect more. So
right. Do you see what you've seen in your time as a professional archer? Do you see it getting better, worse, staying the same? What's your perspective being a pro archer for the future of pro archery?
I think it's getting better. Just because of like social media and YouTube and all of this stuff, because when I was young, I didn't even know professional archery was a thing because I didn't have Facebook when I was younger. Well, a lot younger. So I didn't really know it was like an option. Like I didn't have that really as a goal in the beginning. So I think like for people to at least be able to see that it is possible might give them some dreams about trying to do it. And tournaments are easier to get out, like with YouTube and all of this stuff, that it's easier to get exposure from that way. Instagram, Facebook, all of this.
Well, that's good. I like to hear that. Should we ask him about the elk?
The one he covered in champagne that he wasn't supposed to sit on?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know. Paige did it too. She's from there. So. You should have known. Nothing.
Everybody did. I thought that was kind of standard, that's just what you do.
All right. It's a rite of passage as a riding champion.
That's what I thought.
And I actually saw somebody on Facebook. So apparently just if somebody's not on social media, what we're referring to, there was a post by Straight Arrow asking people not to sit on the targets. PJ and I've joked about it because the champions were on the targets just as they have been in previous years.
Forever.
But there was a comment under the Straight Arrow. There was somebody offering to pay for them to sit on it just to keep the tradition alive. So
yeah.
it is kind of this big thing, and it's just always been done. I didn't know they were asking people not to do it.
Yeah, as someone who has wanted to win Reading, like to you, is that part of it, sitting on the elk?
Yeah, of course. I've seen everybody, like Jimmy did it last year when he won, and
right.
Of course, it's part of the tradition. I didn't even, like, so I probably saw the post at one point, now that I think about it, but I thought it was like because somebody was like shooting the moose and sitting on the moose to take a picture. I didn't know, like, if we were done with the tournament, I didn't see like the harm of it at that point. Like, it's not like we're breaking it or moving it or anything. It doesn't change anything since the shoot is over. They have to fix the targets anyway. So I didn't actually know that it was an issue. And Paige did it, so I was like, she's from here. She should know, not me.
You got to be safe. If Paige does it first, yeah, I would say that's a good way to check, see if it's legal.
And I definitely appreciated the champagne. It makes me think that for our outdoor shoots, we need to have champagne for podium pictures.
Yeah.
It just looks cool, I think.
It does look cool.
It makes it like, because some other sports, they do it in Formula One, especially, they do it every time. And just, I don't know. And I did it twice in Kings of Archery. It's shoot in Europe. I started doing it. It was indoor, so I actually asked for permission there because I didn't want it to ruin their floor. But I did it there a couple of times. I got some cool pictures out of it and cool videos. So I thought when Cody had it, of course, I had to do it too.
Right. Well, whether we make it part of the standard operating procedures or not for podiums at ASA, I'm going to keep a bottle in stock for when Stephan wins his first.
He wins, right. Yeah. One of those giant ones like they have use in the racing.
Right.
Those huge things. Yeah. I like that idea. So let's talk about, tell me about your fascination with Formula One racing. If I walk past a group and it's you and Jimmy and I forget who else is in there, invariably that's what you guys are talking about.
Yeah, we follow every race. It's just, I don't know. It just become like something we follow because I don't watch most of the American sports like NFL, baseball, hockey, all of that. Just because when I would be in Denmark, it would be in the middle of the night they would play, so I would never really watch it.
Right.
So it just, Jimmy got into it and I was into it and we just kind of like follow it together, kind of.
Yeah, it just always struck me as strange. I'm walking down the ASA range, and these guys are talking about Formula One. I don't know.
If you walked on the practice ranges or you see him in the village, more than likely he's got his phone on, watching it.
I would think ASA that they'd be talking about NASCAR. That just seems, I don't know. Seems like the fit there.
Boring compared to Formula One.
Yeah. Do you watch any other sports? I know you say you don't watch American sports.
I watch a little bit of tennis here and there, a little bit of soccer since I am from Europe if it's a big game. But no, not too much. I'll watch a little bit of NFL if Jimmy is watching it, a little bit of basketball because of him. But other than that, not really, not too much.
So who's your favorite soccer team?
For me, it usually was Bayern Munich, German
Great
team.
answer.
Jimmy has Arsenal. That's his team, so we can fight a little if they play against each other. My other friend is fan of Real Madrid, so yeah, it's more fun when you cheer for different teams, so they can fight a little bit about it.
Oh, absolutely. And I knew I liked you better in hearing that you're a Bayern Munich fan and he's an Arsenal fan. That I grew up. That's been my favorite team forever.
How close do you and Jimmy live in Yankton? It's not a big place anyway, but
5 minutes, yeah.
5
just
minutes.
around the corner almost. He's on the other side of Walmart, basically.
Walmart's your landmark.
I like that. Yankton's sounding better and better the more I hear about it. Well, I can't think of anything else, Stephan. Is there anything we didn't touch on that you wanted to talk about for archery? You said your big ones left are Vegas, winning an ASA, and what's World Cup final?
Yeah. I'm definitely not winning World Cup final since I'm not going to World Cup. So
That
it's going to be an ASA again.
Yeah, I was going to say that would be difficult. Well, I know one thing I wanted to ask before we sign off is, so for you, how difficult or was it difficult at all to learn the ASA game? You're coming from Target where you can see everything, and then all of a sudden, bam, these targets.
Oh, yeah, it was difficult. And the first one I went without really asking people for help. I just went and was like, I'm going to learn this myself, kind of. So I went with like small people that I couldn't see anything, target set up, and I didn't shoot anything good. I couldn't see anything, and it was pretty hard. And then I could see what everybody else was doing, and I could kind of figure out, okay, I need to change some things. I need to get some different arrows, and I need to figure out a few things here.
Gotcha.
I went first time just because it was just like fun to try and see what it is.
Yeah.
Got a little hooked on it and got some stuff working out and figured things out, sight tape, all of that stuff.
How long would you say before you were like, okay, feeling comfortable?
Not that long.
No, okay.
3 or 4 shoots, I would say. Like the next year, middle of the season, I would say I was starting to get more comfortable figuring things out. But I feel like I'm still learning a little bit here and there. Just like obviously getting older, change a little bit how I aim sometimes, how I feel. So it just changed a few things here and there. But overall, I feel like I've figured most of the things out, but I still have a few things that I could definitely get better at.
And now you're coming off Reading where you're shooting out to 101 yards. So I'm guessing the move to 60 yards in known pro didn't bother you at all, or?
No, actually, for some reason, 50 yard or 60 yard doesn't seem that much difference when I'm aiming. Like if you make a mistake, the mistake is obviously going to get worse. But when I draw back, it doesn't, like, it's far both. So it's not like it's changing that much. But if I make a mistake and it should be just out on 50, it will be more than just out on 60.
What do you see at 60? I'm curious. Well, what you see at 50, what you see at 60 when you're looking at a target.
It depends on the target, but if it's like a brown target that usually I can see rings, I can see most of it. So it doesn't like, and if I'm shooting good, aiming good, it doesn't feel that much difference. Like it doesn't move that much more. It feels like, just like I think mentally makes it a little bit because you get a little bit more scared.
Yeah.
But now the perspective has also changed a little bit because now when we go to like anything 45 to 50, you're like, well, I just shot a 50 yard. This should be kind of easy now. Yeah. Where before you shot a 50 yard, you were like, damn, this is far. I'm still going to try, but maybe not as hard. Now it's more like, okay, it's 50 yards. I have to hit this one.
Yeah.
So it changed a little bit the perspective of it.
I got to get these guys to help me. I can't see anything at 50 yards.
I can't see anything.
Well, if you have like a Russian boar or something out there, that's hard. I can't see it.
I shot the team shoot last year with Jimmy, and he's like, with his naked eye, looking at stuff on the target. And I'm like, I can barely see through my binos, let alone with my eyes. You guys just, well, yeah, I can see the rings at 60 yards.
I'll never forget Jesse Broadwater, me doing a shoot with him. He was like, do you see those 2 arrow holes there under the 12? I'm like, no, I can't. It was on the Wolverine at like 50 yards. Like, no, I can't see that.
Yeah.
Can't see anything. You got those young eyes. Don't get rid of them. Keep them forever.
Trying.
Well, that's all I got, Stephan. We appreciate your time. Thanks for taking time out, and congrats on that big win. That's awesome. You. I imagine that, like you said, I know you've been going there for a while. That's got to feel like well, I'll ask, does it feel more like an accomplishment or a monkey off your back?
Yeah, an accomplishment. I didn't really feel like I don't really feel like I have to win when I like it's not like I was like, oh, I'm missing this one, I have to get it kind of thing. No, it's just I feel happy that I won, and I feel happy that I achieved another win. Definitely. Starting to be a good year.
Awesome. Well, all right, Stephan, again, congrats. Appreciate your time. Folks, Josh, appreciate your time too.
Thanks for your time, PJ.
I guess I should thank the boss. Folks, that's another episode of the Competition Archery Media Podcast. You can find it on all the platforms, wherever you find your favorite podcasts. Thanks for being with us today.